In the small village of Al-Mahdi, which sat beside a flowing river, there was a young man named Hassan. He was known for his tall, broad figure and his confident smile that could charm anyone. He wore clean, fine clothes, always looking polished and well-kept. A stark contrast to the hard-working villagers around him. Hassan was proud of his appearance and often used it to get what he wanted. Every day, Hassan would stand in the busy village marketplace, talking loudly to anyone who would listen. "I am the smartest man in this village," he would boast, puffing out his chest. "Everyone comes to me for advice because I know everything. I am the wisest man here, no doubt about it." But Hassan's claim wasn't true. While he might have been good at talking, he wasn't good at working. He had learned how to manipulate people, to charm them with his words, and make them believe he was something he wasn't. Hassan preferred to avoid hard work, taking the easy route by tricking others into giving him food or money. One day, while Hassan was leaning against a stone pillar in the marketplace, he saw Amina walking by. Amina was the wife of Fahad, the hard-working farmer who owned the best farm in the village. Amina was known for her beauty, but what stood out most about her was her kindness and her ability to work hard alongside her husband on their farm. She didn't need anyone's help, but she always welcomed others with warmth. Hassan watched her as she walked, carrying a basket of fresh vegetables. "What a fine woman," Hassan thought. "Maybe I can get something from her. If I flatter her, she might give me some of her vegetables." With that thought, Hassan walked up to Amina with a big smile on his face. "Good morning, sister. You are the best farmer in this village. Everyone talks about how amazing your vegetables are." Amina smiled politely, but there was a knowing look in her eyes. "Thank you," she said softly. "My husband and I work very hard on our farm." Hassan couldn't stop himself from trying to impress her. "You are so lucky to have such a beautiful farm. But you know, I think you might need someone wise, like me, to help protect it. Thieves might come in the night." Amina raised an eyebrow and gave him a thoughtful look. She had heard such words before and was not easily fooled by sweet talk. But she responded kindly. "Thank you for your concern, Hassan. My husband and I manage just fine. But if we ever need help, I will let you know." Hassan, though disappointed that he didn't get the immediate response he wanted, still believed he could find a way to get close to Amina and her family. "Perhaps I can help them somehow and get something in return," he thought to himself as he walked away, feeling confident that he could win her trust. That evening, Amina shared her conversation with Fahad. She had grown tired of Hassan's attention. "He seems too friendly," she said to her husband. "I think he's planning something." Fahad smiled and kissed her forehead. Don't worry, my love. If he tries to trick us, we'll teach him a lesson he won't forget. The next morning, Hassan had not given up on his plan. He woke up early and headed to the farm, hoping to find a way to gain Amina and Fahad's trust. He knew that Fahad worked hard in the fields, while Amina tended to the animals and the garden. It was a busy farm, but Hassan had no intention of working hard. He just needed to find a way to get close to the family. As he approached the farm, he could hear the sound of a plow digging into the soil. Fahad was out in the field, working tirelessly under the hot sun. Hassan walked up to him, wiping his brow and trying to sound friendly. Good morning, Fahad, he called out. What a beautiful farm you have here. Fahad wiped his face with his sleeve and smiled. Thank you, Hassan. It's hard work, but it's worth it. Hassan grinned. Hard work, huh? I know all about hard work. I've helped so many farmers before. Fahad raised an eyebrow. Really? Well, if you know all about hard work, why don't you help us today? Hassan hesitated. Help? I don't want to get my hands dirty, he thought to himself. I'd love to, but I have an urgent matter to attend to today. Maybe some other time. Fahad chuckled and nodded. Of course, Hassan. I understand. As Hassan walked away, he couldn't help but feel frustrated. Why do they always want me to do work? I don't need to work. I can just talk my way through this, he thought. But I'll find another way. I just need to wait for the right moment. Days passed, and Hassan continued to visit the farm, always trying to be around when Amina or Fahad were working. He wasn't really helping, but he hoped that somehow he would earn their trust and find a way to get something from them. One afternoon, Fahad had to leave to sell some grain at the market, and Amina was left alone on the farm. This seemed like the perfect opportunity for Hassan to get closer to her. He quickly walked over to her as she worked in the garden, bending down to pick vegetables. Her hair was tied back neatly, and she was dressed simply, but there was an undeniable grace in the way she moved. Amina, Hassan said in a smooth voice, you are such a hard worker. You deserve a break. Let me help you today. Amina paused and looked up at him, considering his offer. She could tell that Hassan didn't want to help out of kindness, but likely wanted something in return. Still, she thought it might be a good idea to keep him busy and teach him a lesson. That's very kind of you, Hassan, she said. But I need to go to the market with Sajid. Can you watch the farm for a little while? Hassan smiled broadly. Of course. Leave everything to me." Amina nodded and left with her son, leaving Hassan alone on the farm. As soon as she was gone, Hassan found a comfortable spot under a tree and stretched out, enjoying the shade. "This is too easy," he thought. "I'll just sit here and relax. They'll never know the difference." A few hours later, Amina returned with her son, carrying bags of goods from the market. When she saw Hassan under the tree, she didn't say anything right away. Instead, she smiled and approached him. "Hassan, thank you for watching over the farm," she said sweetly. Hassan stood up quickly. "Of course, Amina. I'm always happy to help." Amina smiled, but knew that Hassan had done nothing. She decided it was time to teach him a lesson. "You know, we've got a lot of work to do. Fahad will be back soon, and we need help with the wheat. Would you mind coming back tonight to help us grind it?" Hassan's eyes widened. Grinding wheat. That's real work, he thought, but he didn't want to back out now. "Of course, I'll come back later tonight to help." That evening, Hassan returned, expecting a pleasant evening of chatting with Fahad. But when he arrived, Fahad handed him a large sack of wheat and said, "Hassan, we need you to grind this wheat for us. We're so busy, and we could really use your help." Hassan's face fell. "This isn't what I signed up for," he thought. "I thought we were going to talk, not do work." But he couldn't back out now. "Of course, Fahad. I'm happy to help," he said with a forced smile. Hassan spent the next few hours grinding the wheat, his arms growing sore and his body covered in dust. It was hard work, and he was starting to regret his decision. Meanwhile, Amina and Fahad watched from the kitchen, barely containing their laughter. Hassan was learning the hard way what real work felt like. Finally, after hours of grinding, Hassan finished. His arms ached, and he was exhausted. Fahad handed him a small bag of flour as a thank you. "Thank you for your help, Hassan," he said. "You've done a great job." Hassan smiled weakly, feeling humiliated. He couldn't wait to leave. The next morning, Hassan walked near the well, looking tired and frustrated. Amina saw him and smiled politely. "Good morning, Hassan. Will you be coming by again tonight? We still have more wheat to grind." Hassan quickly shook his head. "No, thank you. I think I've helped enough. I have other things to do." Amina laughed softly. "Very well, Hassan. Thank you for your hard work." As Hassan walked away, he muttered to himself, "I'll never go back to that farm. They tricked me into working. From now on, I'll be more careful." And so, Hassan learned an important lesson. There was no shortcut to success. Real success came from hard work, not from tricking others. From that day on, Hassan changed his ways, no longer boasting about being the smartest man in the village. He began to work harder and earn what he wanted.